Hi, I'm Glenn Heemstra from Futurist.com. I'm on the organizing committee for Mark Anderson's annual Future in Review conference. Each year, this conference picks a number of FiReStarter companies. And FiReStarters are selected because these early stage companies are expected to make a difference in the world and also to be successful. One of the FiReStarter companies this year is called Mobisante. And I'm standing here with David Czar, who is CTO and co-founder of the company, and also with Sailesh Chutani, who is CEO and co-founder. And this is a really interesting company that's focused on a very small handheld ultrasound imaging device. Tell us about the genesis of this idea and where you are with it.
Okay, thank you. Several years ago, a colleague and I developed a line of ultrasound probes that could be connected via USB to PCs, laptops, and so on. And about 2 years ago, Microsoft had a call for papers, interesting projects that would use cell phones in interesting ways. And we said, well, maybe we could attach that. So that's really where it started. We got some funding from Microsoft, and we took these commercially available ultrasound probes and attached them to a cell phone.
And we, in this case, you're at Washington University in St. Louis. Are you a physician there?
No, I'm a computer engineer.
Okay.
And I do fun things. I've been working with ultrasound for about 20 years, as well as my colleague there. And that was sort of our vision, was to bring ultrasound down, make it low cost, make it very easy to use, and very portable as well.
Okay. So a cell phone application sounds interesting. Sailesh, CEO and co-founder, why don't you show us the device and tell us a little bit about where you are in the development of it now.
No, absolutely. So this is the device. This is an off-the-shelf cell phone. It's a Toshiba TG01 you can buy freely. It's running Windows Mobile's 6.5. And this is the probe that Dave has developed with a company in California. And essentially our innovation now is in developing the software that's easy to use, that's comfortable to folks who are used to ultrasound, and a package that can be sold to community clinics, to rural health clinics, and anyone who needs the portability and low-cost alternative to the very expensive card-based systems that are the norm today. And we can't do all the things that a $250,000 machine can. I mean, clearly that's not what it's targeted for. But this is good enough to do common procedures, to do a quick look, to be able to do a triage, to decide which patients you want to bring in for the more detailed examination. So that's the problem we want to go after.
So tell me, David, some of the kinds of uses that would have. You mentioned different kinds of people that would use it, that is a physician's assistant, a rural physician, and so on. What are some of the things that would be imaged using this simple device? Sure.
Well, commonly people think about ultrasound, they think about babies. Fetal ultrasound is very common, and for good reason. It helps improve the outcomes for both mother and child. And we can certainly do that with this system. We've done fetal imaging with that. We can also do other types of abdominal imaging. An abdominal aortic aneurysm, for example, can be detected very easily with these probes. And a fairly large percentage of the population walks around with these all the time, and it's not a problem until it bursts and you have no warning. So being able to do basic scans when you're at the doctor's office in a minute would be a great use for something like this, as well as other types of abdominal imaging, looking at kidney, liver, a gallbladder, and things like that.
This is fantastic. And do you see this as being able to be produced cheaply enough that it's a widespread application in developing countries, in rural areas, and so on, that don't have a lot of medical facilities?
Oh, absolutely. That's a long-term goal. But what we realized as we started to talk to people in the United States is there is a very big unserved community here. The community clinics and the community hospitals, they together take care of 20 million patients in the United States, and they're very cost sensitive. If they're in the low rural density areas, population density areas, they can't afford very expensive machines because they don't have enough patients. So for them, this is a very viable alternative. So rather than sending everyone off to a facility that's far away, they can do some triage locally and provide a better quality of care. Now, as the volume goes up, we can clearly bring the prices further down, and then it becomes a lot more affordable to emerging countries. In fact, some of the calculations we have done, we think at scale, we can get this down to less than $1 an interpreted exam.
Wow.
But we are some ways from that. But that's our goal. I mean, we want to really address the problem of access to high-quality, affordable healthcare around the world.
That's fantastic. And where are you in terms of going through the whole testing and approval process? I know it's kind of unpredictable when you actually get those kinds of approvals, but give us a rough timeline of when we might actually see this available in the market.
Sure. So, I'm in the software business, and I know the software industry is notorious for making predictions on dates and not meeting it. So I'll not give a firm prediction on dates, but we are very optimistic. So there are a couple of things that have to happen. The probe itself is FDA approved, but we need to get approval for our software from the FDA, and we are in the process of preparing for that. So once we get the FDA approval, then we'll be able to officially market and sell the product, hopefully sometime next year. But we are running clinical trials already with the patient consent and the right sort of procedures to really get a sense for what is going to be really good for. We have educated hypotheses and some evidence, but we want to narrow it down to the precise usage.
Well, it's fantastic. It's not quite the Star Trek tricorder, but it kind of looks a little bit like that to me. And the exciting thing is to imagine walking into a physician's office, a clinic, and knowing that this kind of thing might be available without having to go off to a lab. So the company is Mobisante. Congratulations on being a FiReStarter at the 2010 conference, and lots of luck with your project.